everyone. I'm going to speak very loud so everyone else quiets down and we can start. I'm Tal from Valero. We're an Israeli startup, part of the DLD hub and ecosystem. Happy to have you here in Tel Aviv. We're starting a very exciting session that's going to be about content. As you can see here, or yes, you can, from Big Bird to Gangnam Style. We're going to review the evolution of television. I'm going to invite our panelists to the stage and tell you briefly who they are. First and foremost is the panel host, Oded Vardi, which you are very welcome to clap for. Oded, he deserves it. Oded is an investor and entrepreneur. He invests in media companies. He's also an extremely nice guy who is always happy to help and advise startups, us as well. We always turn to Oded for ideas, advice, and thank you for that. I was told not to embarrass him, so I'm stopping. Oded is going to tell you a bit more about him and what he does today, a lot of exciting things he's up to, so I'm just going to go ahead and invite the other panelists. First, we have Hanan Laschover. Yes, clapping is something we like. Thank you. Hanan is currently serving as the CEO of AOL Israel and Vice President of Video Technologies at AOL. Next one up is Uri Levanon, all the way from Sweden. Uri is the founder and CEO of Haste Media, a boutique. Haste. Oh, yeah. I thought it was like something that would sounds like Swedish. Haste. Haste. Yeah. Haste Media, a boutique digital entertainment and advisory firm. In addition, under the Haste brand, Uri has started Haste Films, a feature film production company where he collaborates with talented filmmakers from all over the world. Next one up is Bernstein. He's an executive vice president of education, research, and outreach. He established the educational agenda for all Sesame workshop productions and creative executions. Welcome. René Rechtman, please step up. René is the president of Maker Studios. There's a quote from him, it says, "Fans are the new publishers." That's something that comes from his studio. René, who resigned as CEO of AOL's branded last fall, joined multi-channel network Maker Studios in the newly created role of President of International. And last one is, and not least, is Bryant Chou. Brian is an American-born Chinese living in China and focused on bringing Vice in all its glory to Chinese people. There's a nice quote from you, so I'm going to quote it, and then I'm going to fade away and let you guys start. Brian was asked, if you were the king of the world, what would you do differently? So his answer was, world peace, man, world peace, but seriously, I would try to even the playing field so that everyone has equal opportunity for the future. So we're all for that. Have a good panel.
So, good afternoon, DLD Tel Aviv. It's good to have you here. We have today, wow, this is an incredible panel. We have here people from AOL, which are startup indie people that became corporate. We have Vice, which is now a corporate, but still has the indie face. We have Uri, who's, yeah, he's our man. He's our corporate token. We have Bernstein, an American from the non-profit organization of Sesame Street organization, and René, who's Maker Studio, who's a startup and sold to Disney, and he's a Danish gentleman living in London with a strong connection also to Israel. So it couldn't be more international than this. It couldn't be better companies than this. Very excited. So why don't we start with a quick round of introductions. Hanan.
You hear me? Hi. So my name is Hanan Laschover, not Laschover, and I'm the CEO of AOL Israel. AOL Israel is an outcome of the startups that has been acquired throughout the years by AOL here in Israel, which is quite a few. I co-founded 5min like 8 years ago, and we got acquired by AOL 4 years ago. And since then, we've been running the video operations inside in AOL.
Can you tell the audience a little bit what you and your co-founders are doing now within AOL?
Yeah, so Ran, my co-founder, is the president of video, of the global video division in AOL, and Tal is running all the international in it. And as I said, I'm running AOL Israel and the technology side of video here. That's it.
Uri, what's cooking in Uri Corporate these days?
Good question. First, thank you very much. This incredible panel, you know, movers and shakers worldwide. So the thing that I did in video and TV is running a small multi-channel network on YouTube, a micro MCN, so to speak, with a huge focus in the area of the film industry, which is called the fantastic movies, which is sci-fi, action movies, horror movies, the whole genre film. And grew up the biggest channel in this nice vertical, the biggest in the world. Consequently of that, I started to develop strategies and ways for the amazing creators community, a lot of people all around the world creating films and TV shows in this segment, on how to tap on the digital highway and how to exploit all the new distribution channels and techniques. And apart from that, I'm advising some media corporates on strategy and so and so.
And where do you live there these days?
In Stockholm. Yeah.
So this Israeli guy lives in Stockholm. That's not really the regular life track. And we have now Louis. Now, first I have to tell you something personal here because Louis is Executive Vice President at the Sesame Street organization, and soon you'll tell us how long you've been there. Now, as a kid growing up in America, I joined in probably on the 4th or 5th season of Sesame Street. This is the only show that both me and my kids are watching that survived this long. So I was very excited when I heard they're bringing somebody from Sesame Street. At the beginning I was hoping they will bring the Cookie Monster, but I hear he's speaking somewhere else.
Cookie.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Thank you to Yossi probably for inviting me to this. I'm here on my 40th wedding anniversary, and he caught me. And I feel like one of these things does not belong with the others, given that we're a nonprofit company in a world of startups here at DLD. So Sesame really began, I started on the research side of Sesame Street, worked on the international production side, was a vice president of global production, had the wonderful opportunity to be the executive producer of the domestic version of Sesame Street, and then moved back to my first love, which is what are the needs of children that we can actually deal with? It's not whether children learn from media, it's what they learn from media. So we think of the pipeline of television as a way to really deliver important content that can affect their lives.
So what are you more? You're more an educational company or a media company?
That's something we're still struggling with. We're an educational media company that really tries to use the power of the media to deliver educational messages. So if you think of it this way, we have to get, I'm sorry for this mixed metaphor, get kids into the church so they can hear the sermon, and then we have to see whether they've learned anything from the sermon.
So, and I also have to ask you something else because I know you've been in Sesame Street for quite a while now, from almost the very beginning. Now, I'm very curious, what was the atmosphere like back then? Was it always something that attempted to be a big, commonly known household name, mainstream in a sense, or it was also disruptive? Because obviously the people who invited some of the characters were still under the effect of the drugs they took in the 60s.
45 years ago, it was a startup. And so no one ever imagined that it would last this long. It was a revolution because no one had used television to educate. Now, I ate my Frosted Flakes because of Tony the Tiger. And our CEO basically said, why can't we use new characters, Muppets, and have them teach letters, numbers, and more important, a social mission, a modeling of blacks and whites, Hispanics and Jews, Muppets of all colors, living in an idealized street that 45 years ago, when it was first broadcast, was banned in Mississippi. And then 45 years later, we have a president who is an African American. Now, we don't take credit for any of that, but we do think that media can change a zeitgeist.
Absolutely. René, so first I want to ask the audience a question. Who heard already about Maker Studio? So now, so obviously you guys are getting more and more known. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about Maker Studio.
So I'm surprised so many will know Maker Studio, as Maker Studio is not a consumer brand until recently. Just to give you background, Maker Studio probably started as a movement of creative people in LA auditioning for more traditional shows and then uploading comedy to YouTube. And it was extremely successful. And then what you had was you had gathering and more talent cooperating to create audience and create better shows, higher quality. And that movement was probably a self-expression that people were having, and they had suddenly the tools, YouTube, to express themselves. However, 2-3 years ago, the Maker Studios changed character to become a proper company with investors and a clear vision to democratize creativity. And, you know, it has worked extremely well. When I visited Maker Studios the first time, it was this very, very special feeling that you have in very few companies around the world. I remember I had the same feeling at Twitter early days when I visited their first office. Something at Maker Studios was much bigger than the founders, much bigger than us investors or the management. It was much bigger than our vision. And that was what attracted me personally to the company, and I was very lucky that I was allowed to invest and later on join to build the global presence.
Yeah, which obviously was amazing that those of you in the audience who haven't heard, Maker Studio was sold to Disney for a big deal, up to $1 billion, and this is a startup. And maybe tell us a bit about what is your role within Maker these days.
So, I mean, Maker is doing around 9.5 billion video views a month. 72% of those are global views, created by global and local talent. And until recently, the operation was mainly in LA. So my role is to make sure that we localize this global viewership and talent base. So we have opened up offices in London, in New York, in Singapore, in Greater China, Brazil, and we're expanding to all major cities around the world.
And do you think that the fact that you're a guy from Denmark who previously sold a company to AOL from America and reside in London, do you think the fact that you've kind of been the new classic, the modern media executive who has all these cultural understandings and so on, do you think that's something that you bring to your role with you and helps you do your job?
So I think coming from a country like Israel or Sweden or Denmark or Holland is a big advantage, right? I mean, I have a very, very simple philosophy, and that is, you know, either you go global or you stay poor, right? And being from a small country, that's the only way we think, right? So I think it's very, very natural that it's a person like with my profile that is trying to create sense of all the global viewership we have in our company.
And maybe one word also about your connection to Israel. Have you personally or your company been doing anything in Israel?
I've been very lucky. Maker Studios was my third exit, so I've been investing in companies around the world the last 6 years. Invested in a few Israeli companies and looking at a few more. And one of them was sold recently. So that was
Dragonplay, I'm sure everybody, the Israeli ones, sure know. Very nice exit. René was part of that as well.
And then I have, you know, great friends that are giving me good deal flow, like yourself, like Hanan, and that helps a lot.
Great. We wish you come and do more here, especially since you already have a good taste for it. Now, let's move to Bryant. Now, I'll ask the same question I asked about Maker Studio. Who heard about Vice? Okay, so you see, you're surprised for the good, but maybe before we ask Brian some questions, we'll go and watch a quick video that will tell people who don't know what Vice is, that will help them get a sense.
Magazine out of Montreal, Canada, and we've since expanded into pretty much everything that revolves around young adults. So we have our own music label, we do television, we have a show on HBO, we do films, we do creative work, we have publishing, print, and basically anything that you want to do around the passion points around young adults. So it's fashion, technology, sports, sex, drugs, travel, food. We create content for the web. So we are, I guess you could say, we were a startup in '94. We've kind of gone the unoriginal route, I guess, where we basically started on digital and we're now going back to television. So I don't know if you heard in the news lately, there you go. This is a piece of content we created for our first season of HBO called Vice.
So we're here just about to play a quick pickup game, super casual, really relaxed, with a few Harlem Globetrotters, and a bunch of North Koreans, and myself as Dennis Rodman and Kim Jong-un. Watch. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
우리 선수들은 경시연만 기술을 남김없이 발휘하여 같은 팀에 속한 미국 선수들과의 보조를 잘 맞추면서 경기를 능란하게 운영해 나갔습니다.
A couple kind of introductory speeches are given, the theme of which is drink. They're very into the concept of bottoms-up toasting, at which point things just get weirder and weirder, of course. I can't explain the feelings that there wasn't a feeling. I felt like I was watching a movie. This trip is full of all sorts of organized games and sanctioned teams and official this and that. But now for the first time, we just found a court on the side of the street and we're actually able to stop at it. The Globetrotters, they're going to see if they can get involved and teach the kids a few things. And it's actually really awesome to see.
So just a short clip of what we did